What's up, guys? My name's Brandon, and the health application on your iPhone does a lot more than you think it does, and it gets even better with the new iOS 18 updates. So in this video, we're going to walk through every detail of the health application, including the new iOS 18 features, and show you how to get the most out of this application. Okay, so when you go into the health app for the first time, you will be on the summary page. This is the default first page right here, and you'll notice something new in iOS 18, where before it used to say favorites in iOS 17, now we have pinned in iOS 18, and you can move around everything a lot easier. So let's first explain everything on this page. So everything you see right here are my pinned statistics, my pinned data points that I want to be able to see at a glance whenever I open up the health application. And these are easily changeable and easy to maneuver around in this section. So we can even just take and hold and drag and move these cards like so. You can move it really easily, whereas that was not a possibility in iOS 17. So when you go to edit right here, you will see the ability to, pin you. So you have all my pinned ones up top right here. And if you want to pin something new, you just go to where it is. So if I want to, let's just say we'll do resting energy, for example, we'll just tap on pin and that will automatically put it up in the pinned section. And from here, we can move that around, or we could just go onto the actual page here itself and move that around by taking and holding and dragging and moving it wherever we want. And then if you want to remove that, you could just go back to edit right here and then just tap on the pin icon and it will remove it and it will not be pinned anymore in this section. So I'd highly recommend the first thing you do is just go in here and pin whatever you would like to see at a glance, because it really makes it easy to monitor all your statistics right away when opening up the health application. Now, when you scroll down, so once you get past all of that, you will see the option to show all health data. So from here, it's going to show everything, not just what you have pinned. So we have our vitals, we have our activity, our heart rate, resting energy, and so on. It goes all the way down. So that was just for today, but you'll see it also shows the past 7 days. And then if you go down even more, it will show past 30 days and past 12 months. And then we have trends. So this takes, for example, a 14-week average and compares it to my previous 14-week average or my previous, 12-week average in this instance. So it shows that I have a higher 14-week average compared to my previous 12-week average right here. And it also tells me in layman's terms that I burned more calories over the last 14 weeks. You could also go into there to see more information about that as well. So you could see your daily average and all of that. We'll go into this section here in a moment, but you can see that for different things in here. So you have exercise minutes, steps, all of that right there. And then we have the option to show all health trends. So this is going to show you everything that is trending over, graphs for, blood oxygen, flights climbed. It's going to show that compared to a previous period. And then scrolling down past that, we have highlights. So this is going to show you different highlights that you might be interested in. So we have workouts, for example. So it shows how many, calories I burned during workouts on Thursday in this example. And then we have steps. So I have this set up right here. And then below that, we have heart rate. So it shows my post-workout heart rate. It shows my headphone audio levels. It shows exercise minutes, my environmental sound levels, and then we have the option to show all highlights. So again, this will just show you everything. And then below that, we have get more from health. So this allows you to contribute to health research. So if you want to get the research app, you can do that right there. And you could also register as an organ donor. So you can also X out of these. So if you've X'd out of those previously, you could also access this by going up to the top and then tap on your profile picture in the top right, and you can access everything in here as well. And then below that, we have different articles. So we have what it means if your cardio fitness is low, why hearing health matters. All of these will just give you information, on various health related topics like the hearing health, tracking medications, cardio fitness, walking steadiness, and more. So this can be really informative, so you don't need to Google everything. And then all the way down here at the bottom on the summary tab, we have a section called apps. And this is going to be apps that Apple recommends that integrate directly with the health application. Now, these applications can read and or write to HealthKit and the health application. So they're going to integrate nicely with health. And you could just tap on one of these and you'll be able to install it right from this screen here while staying inside of the health application. Now moving on to the sharing tab in the bottom middle. So this is going to allow you to share any data that you have stored in the health application with up to 5 individuals. So you can control what data you share and you can change it or stop sharing it at any time. And it kind of tells you all of the benefits of this right here. So it says you're in control, you have dashboard and notifications, and it's private and secure. Now, if a friend or family member chooses to share their health data with you, so if somebody shares their data with you, you can also receive notifications when there are changes to their health data. So this can be great if you're maybe watching after, your mother or father who's old and you really need to be notified if something changes. Or it can just be useful for anybody that you're close with. And you have the ability to do both right here. So you can share with somebody or ask someone to share their information with you. You just press on this and you can add them right here. And then below that, we have something called share with your doctor. So this allows you to share your encrypted health data with your doctors so they can see your records and your health information. And you get this little splash screen right here that says connect to your health system, privacy first and foremost, and see your health records. So if you go to next, this is going to allow you to see nearby hospitals, networks, or different things around you, maybe urgent care or anything like that. And you can choose that and share your data with those hospitals. And then below that, we have a section called apps. So this is going to show you applications that are currently providing data to the health application. So for example, an easy one here is the clock application. Clock is clearly providing data to the health application for sleep. So if we go into here, it's going to show me that the clock is providing data for mental well-being and for sleep. So if we go to sleep schedule, we can see every single time that it has, accessed my data, and we can go into that specific data and show more details about it. You can also delete all data from the application if you would like to. If you maybe don't use an app anymore and you want to remove every bit of data from it, you can do that there. And then below that, we have research studies. So this allows you to show research studies that you've joined and given permission to access your health data. And then we have the browse tab in the far right. So this is going to show you all of your health categories and all of your data. So this is a little bit different from summary, because if you go to summary and show all health data, it just looks a little bit different and you see more details. But under browse, it just shows it all as this list view, and you could also search right here. Now this browse section is great for really going into detail in categories, especially if you don't have it already, pinned right here in the summary page. So if we go back to browse, and let's just say we want to go into heart, for example, and we want to see our heart rate variability. That's something that I do not have pinned in my summary page, but I would like to see that quickly. So we can go into here and you can see a detailed chart for the day, the week, the month, 6 months, and also for 1 year. And this is going to be the same for every piece of data in here. So if we go back and go to, let's just say activity, for example, and let's just say we want to go down to flights climbed, you can see we have a chart for day, week, month, 6 months, and year. Now you could also take and hover or just drag your finger over top of these charts to see the data for that specific day or that specific period of time. And if you have a trend, it will show that right there. You have the about section, you have applications related to this specific data for flights climbed, and you can see it's pretty relevant. Now under here, we have something interesting as well. So we have show all data and data sources and access. We also have the pin option right there if you would like to pin it. But if we go to show all data, this is going to show us all of the data that's been collected related to this specific metric. So if we go to August 15th right here and tap on that, it shows us what has used, what has given us that data. So for example, the glyph icon tells us that we have an Apple Watch for this one, an iPhone for this one. So different times, and you can see what is providing that information. And if you tap into there, you could see even more detail about how it came to that conclusion and exactly what time it came to give that result for, in this example, climbing or flights climbed. So it's using the accelerometer and the gyroscope inside of the iPhone and the Apple Watch to determine that, and you can see exactly where and when in this section. And then down at the bottom, we also have an important section called data sources and access. And if you go into that, it's going to show you apps that are allowed to read data, if there are any, for flights climbed specifically, and same for research studies that are allowed to read data for flights climbed specifically. Now, underneath of that, we have our data sources. So you can see we have all these data sources that are going to be sending information to the health application and giving us data. And if you have an old phone in here that's maybe giving you some bad data or something like that, you can go into that section or into that phone and go to edit and delete all. So you can delete all records from that current phone, or of course you can do it one by one. And you can also add data. So if something was not registered, or if you just want to add more data to your charts, you can press add data up in the top right, and you can give it a date and time, and you can input whatever you want right here. In this example, it would be flights climbed, so I could just add in 3, and now that will be added to my data. Now, I also wanted to go in a little bit more detail on a few of these sections because I think they're really important. So the first one is sleep. So sleep is something that I personally use every single day. So I have my setup in the clock application. I have a sleep schedule, which is great, and I love looking at my data here. So I can look at the past week in this example. And the reason I want to show sleep is because there's a lot more for sleep than a lot of the other categories. So of course we have our different sleep schedules, and I get this information, by the way, by wearing my Apple Watch to sleep. So you can go ahead and tap and hold and kind of see how much sleep you're getting daily. And if you go to show more sleep data, this will show you the stages down here. So it shows my average awake time, my REM time, my core, deep, all that, along with the percentages of each. We also have the amounts tab. So this will show me the amounts for, my measurements, my sleep goal. It will show everything right there. Then we also have comparisons. So this is mainly for heart rate and respiratory rate, as well as the wrist temperature. So you can see how that compares over the week view. And if you want to change that for monthly or 6 months, you can do that as well. And you can see that the chart will adjust accordingly. And then if we go down to highlights right here, it will show us some really interesting highlights. So it shows I've slept an average of 7 hours and 28 minutes over the last 7 days. And you can go to show all highlights as well if you just want to get more information about how you've been sleeping. Now, we also have sleep schedule. So this is where you can go ahead and tweak your sleep schedule if you do have that enabled. I would highly recommend that. I don't have it on this test device, but I do have it on my main device. Then we have the about section, of course, and some different articles and our sleep applications. Now under here, we have some interesting options as well. So we have the option to show all sleep schedules. So you can see those and you can tweak them right there. We have schedules, data sources, and access, which can be really interesting as well. So you could access that. We have show all sleep duration goals. So you can see if you've changed your sleep duration over time. You can see I used to have it at 11.5 hours, then I downgraded to 8 hours, then 7 hours, 4 hours. You can see kind of over time how I've adjusted what my goal amount for sleep is. And then you also have the data sources and access for the duration goals. And you can always swipe over to see the different days in the full chart view right here, or different periods of time, just by swiping over on the graph. Now, also you'll notice in iOS 18, we have something new here, and we have this big rectangle right here. That represents a time when I was sleeping, but my phone and my Apple Watch were not in the sleep focus mode, and it was outside of my sleep schedule. So that means that your Apple Watch will now detect when you are taking a nap, or when you just fall asleep, maybe without putting your phone in sleep mode, or without putting your Apple Watch in sleep mode. So that is another awesome new feature. And then we do also have this little eye right here as well that gives you more information about the different sleep stages. Now, something else that's really underrated in the health application is the symptoms section. So this allows you to log symptoms, whether they're mild or severe. You can log any symptoms that you have. And if you notice a pattern, that could indicate something is wrong, like you're sick. And it's also good to track for your doctor as well. So if you like keeping records, your medical records, so you can report back to your doctor, this is a great idea to log all of your symptoms. So you can see I don't take my own advice here, but I did log a runny nose one time in 2020, and that shows as a purple dot right there. You could also see information about, runny nose, for example, as well. And you can see this for even acne, bloating, breast pain, chills, congestion. You have all these different symptoms that you can log. And keep in mind, you could also do this by just simply telling Siri to log this information. But if you want to log it manually, you can do it right here. So let's just say, for example, I'm feeling congested today. So we're just going to go into congestion and we'll go to add data. And from here, you can add data for this congestion. So maybe it was moderate. It wasn't quite severe, but it also wasn't mild. We'll do moderate and we can go ahead and log that right here. And it will be logged on our chart so we can view it at a later time. And again, this is just really great to see patterns over time and really be able to tell if and when you're sick. And speaking of symptoms, also new in iOS 18, you can now track pregnancy symptoms in the cycle tracking application. So you can go here and track all of your symptoms. Now, this also displays your gestational age along with an analysis of the symptoms that you record. I also wanted to briefly touch on the vitals section as well, because this is also brand new in iOS 18. So if you go into vitals, this is going to give you a more automated way to basically track your symptoms, even though it's not as specific. So if you go into vitals and go into the vitals section right here, you can see your view of your vitals. So this helps you visualize and keep track of your health on a day-to-day basis. So this application basically just aggregates all of your key wellness metrics, which are monitored while you sleep with the Apple Watch. And these include things like your average heart rate, your respiratory rate, your blood oxygen levels, and also your sleep duration. And then if you look at the graph, you can see if it shows either typical or if you have an outlier, it will show up as this purple pink color right there. And you can tap on that and it will show you what the outliers were. So sleep duration, I had 2 outliers right here, and you could tap on, you could tap on that and it will show the outliers right here at the bottom. And basically what the vitals application does is it establishes a typical range for your body specifically over time. And if your metrics are off, or if there are, outliers, then that could indicate that something is wrong, like you're sick, you're pregnant, something like that. And it's really cool because if you tap on the eye next to sleep duration, it can show you, exactly why you might be having an outlier in sleep duration. So it says things like alcohol, caffeine, illness, travel, all of those could be causes of getting less sleep. Or same with blood oxygen, it can show what may cause a decrease in blood oxygen levels as well. And then we also have the medications section right here. So this can be extremely beneficial if you're somebody who takes even one medication. This can be great for ensuring that you do not miss taking your medication on that said day and or time. So from here, you are basically greeted with a calendar view that shows today along with the date, and it shows your log right here. So for example, it shows that at 2:40 p.m. today, I need to take Tylenol. And then underneath of that, it shows your medications. You can edit these or you can change them. You can see a graph for all your medication, all of that right there. Now, if you don't have anything added, you will see an add medication button right here. And when you tap on that, that allows you to take a picture of the pill or the bottle, or you could just search for something. So if I search for ibuprofen, for example, we'll just choose the top one for ibuprofen, and it shows you can choose the medication type. So is it a capsule? Is it a chewable tablet? Is it an oral suspension? You can choose what it is. So I'm just going to choose a tablet, for example. And if you go to show more, it can show, more. So if you have ibuprofen in the form of foam somehow, you can choose that as well. But we're just going to stick with tablet and we'll go to next. And from here, you can choose the medication's strength. So is it 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams, and so on? Or if it's something specific, you can add a custom strength right here. So let's do the typical 100 milligrams. We'll go to next. And then you get the option to choose the schedule. So how often do you need to take the ibuprofen tablet 100 milligrams? So it shows it up there in the top center if you forgot. And from here, you can choose if you want to take it every day or maybe, on a cyclical schedule, specific days of the week, every few days, or as needed. So you could change all of that right there. We'll just stick to every day for now. And then you can choose at what time do you need to take that medication every day. So you can change, the tablet amount as well as the time. So if you go into here, you can change the time. And if you maybe need to take 2 a day, you can add a time for a second one. And you will get a notification at these times to make sure that you are taking your medication. Now under here, you also have a duration. So if your doctor says you only need to take the medication for a week, you can change that to have an end date as well. So if you tap on edit, you can add an end date. That way it knows that you're only taking this medication for a week and not indefinitely. So we'll go ahead to next. And then from here, you will also choose the shape of the medication. So if we just tap on this right here, you can choose that, or you can skip this if you would like. And then we're going to go to next, and you can change the color as well if you want to get a little bit more custom with this. And then right here, you see a summary of everything. So it shows your schedule, shows what it is. We have optional details. If you want to add a display name or add notes, you can do that right there. And then we tap on done, and now it will show up in our section right here underneath of your medications. So now you can see all of our medications right here along with our log. So if you want to log the medication, so say we took the ibuprofen at 150, you can tap on the plus, and from here you can log all as taken. You can say that you skipped this one, or if you took it, just press taken and then go to done, and it will log it, and you can see the little bubble fills up based on how close you are to finishing your medications for the day, and it shows your logged medications down here once you do log them. But you get even more information here as well, because if you go down under medication information, you can see that under pregnancy we have one critical. So it shows that ibuprofen says that you should not take this when you are pregnant. So you get different just alerts down here of something that might not be good for you under certain circumstances, like lactation, for example. It shows why that could be bad. And we have drug interactions as well. So if you are maybe worried about certain drugs interacting with each other, it would show that right there. So highly useful. And then you also have the about medication. So this will show you more about it. You have your health records, your medication records. You can add that right there. You have the ability to export as a PDF. So when you press on this, it will show all of your current medications. And then down at the bottom, we have options. So this allows you to choose dose reminders. So it says it will remind you when it's time to take the medications. I would recommend keeping that on. You also have follow-up reminders. So if you want to have a follow-up reminder 30 minutes after the initial notification, you can turn that on as well. And you could also have time zone change notifications. So the medications section in the health application is highly useful, and I think that it should be used by anybody that has to take regular medication. Another important section here is under mental well-being. So this is going to show you stats and graphs of different things that might be impacting your mental health. So this is the only thing in here that is not related to your physical health, and this is very powerful. So it will show you things like your state of mind, which you can log here in the health application, and also the mindful minutes. So this will show you your mindful minutes, and also new with iOS 18 in the journal application, you can now log how you're feeling in a journal entry, and also the amount of time you spend writing in the journal will count towards your mindful minutes. This will also show you things like your exercise minutes, the amount of time you've spent in daylight, your sleep, which you can see bad sleep right there for me, and then you also have anxiety and depression risks. So it's going to use all of this data to determine if you might have depression or anxiety. You can also take a questionnaire for anxiety specifically and for depression specifically, and it will also tell you more about the depression risk and how the health application might arrive at saying you might be at risk of having depression. And this is also where you can take the overall mental health questionnaire, and you do need to be 13 years or older to do this questionnaire. And then I did also want to mention something about adding data. So if you have an Apple Watch, if you have like maybe an Aura smart ring, if you have a smart scale, or really anything else that integrates with HealthKit and the health application, that data will be automatically imported into the application, and it will categorize itself. You don't need to do anything. However, if you have, a ring, or if you have a smart scale that's not necessarily going to sync up with Apple, HealthKit and the health application, you will have to manually add that data. Like for example, for weight, you can go up to add data in the top right, and you do have to manually add that. You can also do that via Siri. So for example, if I go out and I just say, log my weight as 165 pounds today. You can see it just logged my weight as that right now. So you can use Siri for doing things quickly. You don't have to always go into the health app and manually go ahead and add data and do it the long way. And by the way, if you're not able to log your data through Siri, that could be because it is disabled. So if you want to change that, just go into your settings, go to apps on iOS 18 and go to the health section, and then go to data access and devices, and then go to Siri, and you want to make sure that access health data is enabled. And then lastly, on a related note, we also have some pretty big changes to the fitness application in iOS 18. So when you go into here, everything seems normal at first, but if you go down to the bottom, we now have edit summary. And when you go there, you can see everything jiggles as if it were like a widget on our home screen. So you can now move things around wherever you would like. So you could take and drag and move these to wherever you would like. You could also tap on them to get different options. So if you want to see your step count or your step distance, you can change that. If you want to see your mindful sessions, you can see it that way, or you can see a bigger card in the summary view. And you also have the add button up here in the top left, so you can see all the different cards that you can add to the summary. But the biggest change comes when you go into the activities section and you go down here under the move, exercise, and stand. You can either tap on the plus or minus right here to change the goal for the day. So if you want to change your goal just for the day, either higher or lower, you can do that. You can do it for move, exercise, or stand. And then if you go down here, you can see we have change goals. And this will allow you to set a whole new schedule. So you can get back to the daily view by tapping right there. But if you go to schedule, this is where you can change it for everything. Now we also have a new feature here to pause rings. So if you want to retain your streak, but maybe you're sick or you got injured, you can now pause your rings for today, until Monday, until October, or until a custom amount of time, all the way up to 90 days. So that is a full walkthrough on the Apple Health application updated for iOS 18. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and if you want to see more like it, give this video a thumbs up, and also make sure to subscribe for more iOS 18 videos. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.